Hello friend, welcome back to this week's practice where we're going to focus on shoulder abduction and adduction, which are the movements of moving the arm out to the side, abduction, and back in towards the midline, adduction. So when you're ready, let's go ahead and get started in a standing position. And just as we have been starting for the past few shoulder practices, we can start moving through the spine a little bit. So maybe you just do a few cat-cows in the spine. And at this time, just starting to breathe in and out through the nose. Trying to make the face really easy. And each in our own time, we can meet in an upright position. And in order to start working through the shoulders, we want to be really deliberate with how we position our pelvis, our spine, and our ribs. So if we want to kind of fold the pelvis forward, tuck it underneath a few times, we can figure, okay, where's neutral? Can I set my pelvis in neutral, be deliberate in my buttocks, be deliberate in my lower abdomen, and still let my legs be soft so I haven't sort of jammed out of my knees or my ankles or my hip creases, but the pelvis is neutral, the legs are still soft, they're still anchored and strong. And now that's my boundary, that's what I'm trying to maintain and not disturb as my attention and hands lift up to the ribs. And we can go lifting up and curling back and really just trying to mobilize the ribs away from each other and the ribs toward each other. And then trying to sort of sense like, okay, what could neutral potentially be here in my ribs? Can I set it here? Can I keep my chest nice and open? My skull is drawing up and back. And then right out of the gates, can I hold all of this and just kind of roll my arms around in their sockets? So rolling forward and backward. And so we're trying to be stable in the torso, but we're not trying to be super frozen or like we can't breathe, like we're holding our breath. So it's like, how can I hold my torso still but still breathe? And then can I find a position that feels more or less neutral, where my arms don't feel like they're rolling forward or they're rolling back. And they sort of feel supported on all sides. They're supported from the chest, they're supported from the muscles on the side of the arm, and they're supported from the back here. They're even supported down here from underneath the armpit. Imagine like all of this can be supportive of this position here. And now we'll start to warm our shoulders up by rotating them throughout their entire range of motion. So if we take our right hand to our left side, we can use it as feedback so you can feel what wants to change and give out on you. And from here, we're going to try to maintain neutral in the pelvis, neutral in the ribs, neutral in the spine, and start to move the arm forward into shoulder flexion. And as we do this, the legs are still soft. Everything else is really trying to be uninvolved. So it needs to be involved in its own way then, right? It needs to be involved to try and stay out of it. And we just give ourselves some time under tension at the top to really explore, is this it? Do I got a little bit more? Longer through the arm, really long. And when you get to the top, playing with some rotation, so rotating the arm out, rotating the arm in. And I can feel my whole rib cage want to kind of like wobble and turn off here. So really trying to keep the ribs totally out of it. Turning the arm open, reaching the palm out and down. There's some burning going on in the arm. I get it. You can take breaks. You don't need to go through the whole range of motion, but we're just trying to warm everything up. So from here, keeping everything nice and neutral, we're gonna see, can I press my palm up and back into shoulder extension? And again, trying not to disturb my ribs, the back ribs especially, and the back ribs go all the way up. Then freeing the arm out to the side. When you free the arm out to the side, rolling in the socket, you'll also roll in your forearm. So just try to roll everywhere, and especially up here. You can put your hand there to feel it too, like just learning how to feel these bones a little bit and like what's going on with them. And I get it, it's confusing, and at first you're like, I don't know what I should be feeling for, but just be open. When you roll open the next time, reaching the arm out and up, and then trying to control its way back down in front. And then switching our sides. So the left hand can travel over to the right side, and take some time here to just kind of experiment, be open to the possibility of neutral. Be open to the possibility of neutral. And then start to lift the arm forward towards shoulder flexion. And notice what's being thrown off. For me, a lot of stuff, to the point that it maxes out. It maxes out, and then you just need a little bit of time under tension. See if your end range, if you can really get strong, get long through the arm. And then rotate at the top. You're just trying to get it to rotate in that socket without leaning back. And then rolling open, reaching the arm out and down. As it comes down, moving it back to shoulder extension, trying not to disturb the rest of the body. Giving the arm a little freedom out to the side. And some rotation. And I can feel how that just wants, like, immediately the external rotation makes these upper ribs of mine want to go like down in the back, right? So watch those tendencies. Just try to get the movement to happen in the shoulder. Make your shoulder do shoulder things rather than like your ribs trying to jump in, for example. And then the arm is opening. We reach the arm out and up and forward. Okay, so we just explored everything, including shoulder abduction and adduction. So let's work a little bit more with both of those. So coming into a comfortable standing position, or seated position, doesn't matter. And finding yourself nice and neutral in the pelvis, neutral in the ribs, neutral in the spine. And then feeling again like maybe a little internal external rotation of the shoulders up here, so you can start to feel, okay, like what would no rotation be? Like what would the joint be in neutral? You know, and neutral is sort of like if your skeleton were hanging from the ceiling, how would it set itself? How would it set itself? And then from here, maybe just turning the palms in by the side. But we really want to, again, maintain neutral as the arms now start to abduct away from the midline to come up, nice and slowly. and then adduct back to the midline to come back down. Okay, so it's a slow, controlled movement. We're trying to maintain that rotation in the arm, so we're not trying to internally or externally rotate the arm. And we're also trying to make the arms do their own work so that they're not sort of relying on the torso to kind of shelf them up. And you'll start to feel how your arms want to use your rib cage as a shelf. And so it's your job to sort of work against that tendency here as we go up and down a few times. So let's give ourselves a good amount of reps here, like maybe even 12 or so reps. And just watch for all those different variations. If this is feeling like a lot, or you're feeling something weird going on in your neck or someplace else, maybe do one arm at a time. Or maybe shorten the lever of your arm and just do hands up to the shoulders and trying to do the same thing. And now remember, what we're looking for is that nice stable position of the arm right up here, so that as the lever lifts and lowers, what's happening here is it's not really rolling forward or backward in the socket. Okay? And now let's go out, let's abduct, let's get ourselves situated in neutral as best we can, where we feel like the chest is open, the back is open, the head is pulling up and back. Maybe you even need to get into your legs a little bit here. But here's the fun game of this, is we're gonna try to walk around now. So we're just gonna see, can I start to kind of turn myself in a little circle and maintain, like this is hard, maintain this true position through the entire circle. So if this is too much, take your hands into your shoulders and just try to work with a shorter lever, or try to do one arm at a time. And see if we can go in the other direction. So this is shoulder stability here. And now if we want, we can see if we can actually just take like a little stroll around the mat, for example. And if you take breaks whenever, feels appropriate, we're just gonna see like, okay, what can I do? What can I do? I know it's burning for me. Just a little bit more. As we feel ready, maybe flipping the palms down and then letting them guide the arms back in by the midline, seeing how that feels. Now you can always break up that work into chunks and not do so much of it all at one time. So we need to work progressively for what makes sense for us to work today. We'll work again some abduction, but we'll turn it into other movements, and we'll call those movements out as we're doing them, so we can start to kind of differentiate. Like the shoulder has, wow, it can do all of this stuff, right? It can like move in all of these places. And so sometimes it's hard to figure out like, okay, but what joint position is this actually? So we'll see if we can actually call them out for ourselves today. So if we have the arms down by the side, we get ourselves nice and lifted here. Maybe again, we do a couple of the internal, external, and we start to kind of decipher the difference between the shoulder and the ribs. And we know that the arms are connected to the shoulder blades, so anytime the arms are moving, the shoulder blades may have some movement that they do, and that's to be expected. And then seeing if we can settle the arms in neutral, which might actually feel like a little external rotation if we're really used to spending time like this and internal. Neutral is going to feel like an effort towards external, if that makes sense. So we want to kind of feel where neutral is here. And then neutral is going to be kind of like where the soft elbow creases are pointing forward, by the way. And so from here, we're going to see, can I abduct the arms straight out to the side? Can I adduct the arms back in? Can I abduct the arms back out? In abducted position, can I externally rotate through the forearms and the shoulders? Okay, get your ribs together here. Can I start to lift the arms up again, moving the arms towards shoulder flexion? And I'm trying again not to move the ribs here. So here's what it is from the side. From shoulder flexion, can I maintain flexion but turn the arms out so that the shoulders go internal? Roll the palms out so the shoulders roll in. And then press through the hands and elbows to bring the arms back down towards abduction. And as they come back in towards the midline, keeping the palms facing the back, can I lift them towards extension? Releasing the hands back down. Can I roll the arms to neutral? Can I turn the palms out, but keep the shoulders in neutral? Abduct the arms out to the side. Keep the shoulders in neutral, but neutrally rotated, but turn the palms to the ground. Adduct the arms back down by the side. Shoulders in neutral rotation, but roll the palms open. Reach the arms out to the side. Can we reach the arms up into shoulder flexion, not moving the ribs on the front or the back? Then from here, internal rotation to turn the palms out. I can feel how that moved my ribs. Can I push through the elbows and the palms to bring the arms down through abduction towards shoulder extension as the hands reach back and the palms down. This time, shoulders neutrally rotated. Can we reach the arms forward towards 90 degrees of shoulder flexion so the arms are in front of us? And from here, we can try to work abducting the shoulders one at a time. So if we keep the right arm in, for example, just at this 90 degree of shoulder flexion, we're not using our torso as a shelf. So we're getting ourselves up out of that. And then from here, we're gonna abduct the left shoulder out to the side and then adduct it back in. So just in and out, and just kind of feel what's going on here. We want the chest to resist moving with the arm. So the chest is sort of trying to almost roll to the right to counteract it a little bit. Maybe this one, we can trade our sides. And trying to still feel the rib cage as a three-dimensional sort of cage around the body that's not being disturbed by this movement of the arm out to the side. Let's go ahead, release that down. We can try it one more time, but just to give our arms a little bit of a breather here. This is fun. Let's go ahead and bring the arms back in front. So shoulder, 90 degrees of shoulder flexion here. I'm saying like 90 degrees because of this angle, right? So 90 degrees of shoulder flexion. Trying to get ourselves nice and lifted into neutral. Maybe this time let's start with the right arm. Abducting. And then adducting. Ab and add. Ab out. Add in. Just a couple more. That trash can is outside of my window, not yours, if you're wondering. Let's do the left. And if you wanted to, do one at a time or put one of your arms down, my arms are feeling quite tired. And so once we stop being able to pay attention, sometimes better to just take the break. When you're ready, go ahead, release. Relax that all the way down. Whew. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and do one more thing. Let's shift up our relationship to gravity so we can feel it a little bit differently. Let's come on down to table. And so in tabletop position, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And it might just be nice for us to kind of move around however feels good. And then settling ourselves at our neutral spine here, and neutral ribs. And you might notice that this is exactly what we just did. We have 90 degrees of shoulder flexion here. So how different does this feel though from what we just did? Can you internally and externally rotate your forearms and your shoulders here, kind of like winging your elbows out and in? Can you feel everything? Can you decipher kind of what neutral might be in the arms here, like a neutral rotation? Can you feel your rib cage three-dimensionally? And I ask this because now we're going to see, can I lift the left hand off the ground without disturbing anything? Can I put the left hand back down? That's the question. You can ask it a few times, a couple repetitions. From here, we might take the left hand behind the head, and then we might roll the arm open so that guess what, or roll the chest open so that guess what, we're more towards that abduction that we were just working on over here. And so then we might close it back down. So it's a spinal twist, but there's some element here of shoulder work, and we're just trying to kind of feel that element out a few times. Then we might release that left hand to the ground. You can always take a break, kind of stretch out through your wrists here if you don't like being on your wrists so much. But the only way to like it is to keep doing it. So to do it smartly, I might add. So let's go ahead, come back to tabletop. See if we can find neutral in the ribs and the spine and the pelvis. And then the question is, can I maintain all of that and lift the right hand off the ground? And just doing that a couple of times. And the answer is always like no, like always something will be changing, right? So from here, seeing, can I pick the right hand up and take it behind the head? And then the question is, can I rotate from the ribs open and that arm moves more towards that abducted position? And then can I come back down? And we'll just go a few times trying to feel the ribs and the shoulder. As you feel ready, go ahead, release that down. We can go ahead and come to a comfortable seated position, whatever that might be. And just chill out here for the last minute or so. So coming to an easy seat. If it feels okay for you to close your eyes, sometimes it's just nice to have that minute in your day where all you're doing is just taking a few deep breaths. So you can breathe in and out through the nose. Thank you so much for joining in today's shoulder practice. I hope that, learning these different joint positions helps you move a little bit more efficiently, helps maybe even clear up some confusion, or helps you progress into, new ways of moving. So that's, that's all for me this week. I'll see you right here next week. And in the meantime, if you'd like to make a donation to this work, I'll leave a link to our Patreon down in the description below. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.